Today I will show to you again the JWT part 2, and in which I will show to you that how we can make a retrofit call and how we can send back the JWT to the server and get the results. So on my previous tutorial, if you learned that what we have done a JWT, the basic concepts we have clear and how we can decode it on the Android side. If you are watching this video related to the JWT, the first I must say to you that you have to uh, watched this previous tutorial or previous session of JWT because of you learned the basics concepts on that. So come after that you come on this video. I shared the link of my previous video in description. So first you have to learn on that, then come on this. So you will learn good and your funda be clear more about that. So today I will show to you that a simple login model in which how we can send the JWT, get the JWT and send back it and get the results. So that's the scenario. So in my previous tutorial, JWT was a simple JWT JSON Web Tokens in which we have to work. It is secured key and generally what happen, we give the authentications, username and password. If there be both are valids on the validation check, we have to send a JWT to the client side. And again, API calls, we have to work with that JWT as in a header. So that I will show to you today how we can achieve this thing. And if you know about related to the JWT, I already uploaded this doc, that is the theory doc. You learn from that, and the basic thing is I just describe you again. The JWT is the header, payload and signature. It consists of three things be here, and in which we have to work. Your header is your base 64 encoder, payload is your JSON data, and then we create a signature using that header and payload. So that I already described you on my previous tutorials, how we can this header, how we can create type of JWT header, and algo be your HS256. This is the payload, this is signature, and how we get the retrofit call. So that's with the work. And generally what happened in this diagram, if you watched it, that is a simple funda is when we send the request using the username and the password to the server, it generates your JWT as a secret and send it back to us. And whenever we do the API calls, we send the JWT on the authentication or authorization header. So can JWT signatures cross check the things with there for the particular user and send back the results to you. So that I will show you. And one more thing, this is my login form URL encoded. I will describe you again, and my token be a simple token within a string kind of form. So it's not be the JSON kind of, because of it depends on your server programming also what to do. So I just describe you how we can make this and how can store it in the session and use it in other activities. So that's the tutorial. And what we have to do, uh, just show to you. Okay, so this is little theory also, that is what is the token authentication. So the process by which an application confirms user identity, that is called simple authentication. But in traditionally in our applications with the session cookies, which session IDs is stored on the server side, so a lot of stuffs be there. But the JWT is a new approach by which we can get the things. This token really secure. So I put some theory from some website. This also be very good theory. I will upload for you. You just learn it and JWT, but how can use it. But my today my session is related to this username, user password, and the login. We have to send this username and user password using the retrofit, and then this request goes to the server and get back JWT token we have to get back, and then send JWT as a header and get the user details. So I will show you these things. So these be the steps we have to work. So let us start it on the Android Studio so can learn it now. Okay, so let us start in Android Studio. Yeah, so the same thing, same approach we are doing, just we need JSON and retrofit and converter JSON. So that's we needed, and this is the activity main, in which a simple design be the username with the password, and we have a login button, and this is the main activity. So first do some formalities like private edit text, that's with your username comma user pass, and what we need a button, send button. Okay, and here you just use these names be as an edit text and find this url.id dot username and just copy paste it. This is your user pass and this is your user pass, and for button you just use it as a button. This is your r.id dot login click, and this is your send button dot set on click listener, new on click listener. That's it. And if you want to show this on a show toast, so make a function that is a void show toast, and this is our string masses, and in it you have to make a toast, create a new toast, and just simple enter, and the short b become log, and this is your masses. So main activity be ready. Now what to do, we need a retrofit calls, so just build a background for this. So in this folder first create some packages. Number one is this is your model, and number two is if you're using the data binding techniques you can use the same as we did it many times with the bind, but I'm just describing you what is the JWT approach. So doing this kind of simple find by view by ID get uh, responses. So this is second package name, and I'm giving the name is remote as did many times, and one more package we need it, that is for token manager in which you store your token. That's it. So first we go for the model, and in this model we have to create a class JWT token, and for JWT token, see here I have a 2 PHP on my local server. Number one is this is the login credentials. Here if we get it, this is the valid token up to 3600. I'm giving the times be here. Actually this is the PHP generate token, and here some files we have just like your JWT helper, JWT. So these be the helper classes. I'm just creating because of I don't want to go in the depth of the PHP. I just create a simple login and just with the cross check of that JWT token. So here this is the DB user I just created be here. This is the name of Vishal. You can cross check it by the database users also, but I'm using the just with the static names be here, and this is the post of the username, post of the user pass. We have to send these two parameters be here and cross check it, and if it is fine then it generate the token for us. Okay, so that's the way we have to do. And here the token be in a form of token it generated. So this is the token, so we have to copy this token and give the name be here. Yes, So first what we do for our make it a serialized name, and this serialized name be token, and whatever you give you on that that is depends on your responses. Okay, and this is my if you want to be serialized or deserialized in the JSON, so we need it expose, and for this we need a public string name. This is the token name, we can see it, and or you just give it the same name as in a token, depends on you. And okay, also we give that is a generate to the constructor be your empty, and if we need it, otherwise just simply set the data setters for this, and yeah, fine. So that's be our JWT token class be ready. So main thing is your serialized name. Okay, now we have to go for a remote, and in this remote we are doing the same thing as we did many times. That's be your API call. So this is our interface of the API call, and this or API service depends whatever be the name. So this is the API call, and here I am giving the form URL encoded. Okay, and in it we have to post the things, at least one post we needed whenever we use the form URL encoded, I told you before. And here the post, we have a two parameters for the post, and my PHP location be this is the location. This is your PHP test and JWT, sorry, first is test login. So first we're doing the PHP test. This is the folder name, and this is my PHP file, that is the test login.php. Okay, and this is our post, and in this post we have to call a token, and we have to receive this token. So yes, and that is your user login, sorry, it's a JWT token. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is our user login, and in this we have to pass the field be here. The first field be is you can see it in our post. What's the name? This is the username. So you have to pass the same value be here. Okay, and for this format we need a string username or whatever be you are on the client side, that means on Android side, and this is your second field. And in this field what we have user pass. So we have to pass the same name, and for this we need a string to get be here user pass. Okay, so this is our JWT token. I think we are missing something be here. Let's check what he's saying. Missing body. It's interface. Okay, so that's be the uh, your API call. That's my mistake. Okay, now we have to go for the Java class, and this is our retro class. Easy. And in this class what to do, it's just simple. We have to create a private static final, and that is be your string, whatever be your base URL, and it's our localhost HTTP 192.168.132.2. That's it. So the slash is after on that. Okay, so that's fine. If you're using a slash here, so no need of slash be here. Otherwise, it become double slashes. Okay, now this is our base URL, and what to do for the retro? It just be your a private static retrofit get retro session or get retro fit instance, we can make it as. Okay, and here you have to return a new, what we return, new retrofit dot builder dot call, okay, add your converter factory, so that is your JSON converter factory dot create dot your sorry dot base URL be your base URL, and that's be your okay, may do it in a sequence, make it as a dot a base URL and base URL. Otherwise no problem with that, but I'm just using the sequence, my sequence, so that's be good. And this is your build, nothing else. But as I told you many times, we have the things we return in the form of your string cases. So for that, what to do, we need a JSON. So for this we have to create a JSON, that's be your new JSON, it's not coming, JSON builder, that comes, and that we have to set lenient, and that's be your create, and put this JSON be in the create of your JSON converter factory, so it can convert the strings well. Okay, so the retro class be ready, and here we have to call the API. So for this we make it as a public static API call, and this is your get API call, so we can call it anywhere. Okay, and here you can say it is a return get retrofit instance dot your create, and this is your API call dot class. Okay, now we have to call this retro class here on your main activity. So for this, what to do, this is simple, your final API call, and this is your API call, and how we can call it simply, okay, so the instance we have to create for the retro, what is the class name, retro class dot get API call, and we have to call these things. And what more thing we needed as in your final string username val, and that username will be your username dot get text dot to string, and the same thing we needed for be our user pass value. This is your user pass value, user pass, and for this what to do, you have to call retrofit call we have, so JWT call token, and that's your JWT token call, and is this call we have to use your API call dot user login, and that login be your user name val, comma, user, pass val. That's it. What it want to me. Okay, this is not a call for the Android. This is the retrofit call. Now it is fine. Okay, so this is your JWT token call. Uh, just a minute, we have to remove because of there were two kind of calls be there. So this is your telecom. So delete this. First you have checked this which kind of call you are doing and alt enter. Now it is fine. Okay, so this is the JWT token call and this is your JWT token call that NQ, it's your new call back be here. Okay, so that's be easy and we have to receive the token as enough. Sorry, we have to receive a JWT token and this is your JWT token and this is the response dot body dot get. Sorry, you just go for this response dot body. Fine. And here you have to show toast and in it you can say that we need a JWT token dot get token dot to string, so you can show it and if there will be some error so you can go for this and say t dot get message. Okay, so the things we've ready and here we have to do manifest and in this manifest we use a use permission internet. That's it. Okay, so this we have to call for the JWT token API call be ready and first once we get this string using the username and the password then we send it to back to your server side and get the result of our user ID. So that's the scenario we have to cover. So first we check it these things be fine or not. So we start this Genymotion and just wait for that. Okay, so let's see what happened in it. We give the name this Vishal and Vishal. So you can see that the result with your JWT token. So first we have to store this JWT somewhere on my session so we can pass it in other activities and you can use it in uh, wherever you want, just like as you create your session in your app. So for that we have to create a Java class under the token manager and then just simply make it a token manager. So here it's a simple shared preferences use. I'm just make a small program on that. Just a small class B. This is your private shared preference, shared preferences, and this is a private shared preferences dot editor, and this is your editor. And here you give some reference name be here. So you just be first you have to create a mode for that. So you create a mode that's be a 0 and give the shared preference name be here. So public static final string and that string be your ref name and that ref name be your just here we can say it is a JWT token session. Just JWT token, whatever you name, whatever you want it, you can put it. Just to show that pass the values be in your session values. So here we have a private static and we have a final to store the key name and key username or key JWT. So this is your username. Okay, this is the string and this is your key JWT okay, so JWT token, and we give it the name of JWT token. So simple. So this be the scenario, and if you want to be go for is login and other things, so you can do it. And one more thing we needed, that's called your context, and that context be here. Okay, so now we have to work with this token manager constructor. On this constructor we have a context, and here you can say this dot context be your context, and share preferences be your context dot. So wherever we call it, we can just say the get share preferences be here. So here we have a preferences name comma, this is your mode. Okay, so the things be ready, and one more thing, be you use this editor, and editor is your share preferences dot edit. Simple. Okay, now we have to create the session. So what to do, you create a function public void create session, and here you have to pass the two things in under the session, which we have to edit in your shared preferences, that be the string your username and comma string JWT value. So these two we have to put in under this. So here we have a editor dot put a string, and that is your key username or user email, whatever you want you can put it, and editor dot put a string, this is your key JWT token, and that's your JWT value, and here you can commit this, so editor dot commit. Okay, so if you want to make the more function, just like you can say it is a logout and other things, you can put it on the same class. That means complete session be under this. So I'm just showing you how we can use this and how we can store it. So this is this is our token manager. This is a token manager, and this token manager be your token manager as be a new token manager, and get application context, that's be, or this context depends. Okay, and now whenever you get this JWT token, you can just simply say token manager dot your create session, and this is your username val, and this is your JWT token dot get token dot to string, sorry it's to string. Okay, so that means whenever you want it, you just get it on the other activity and you pass it on other API calls. So I'm just showing to you how you can use the API call. Just my API call is simple, a get function in which I want to get the user ID from the server side. Here I have a PHP file in which it checks the authorization header as a JWT. If it is fine, it give me this 111, otherwise it show me the response code and the error. So that's I have to show to you that how the JWT token be send it as a header on your API calls. This is how you can use the API call. So you can do the same API calls for the other activities or other fragments. Okay, so just showing to you, you just go for this API call, and I want to be the get kind of call, and as my file be the same on the same location, but the name is different. So the name is, its name is JWT test. So I'm just giving the name is JWT test. Okay, so this is the get request, and here I have just call it as a string, and that string is your we can say it get user, and I want this user, and under that we have to pass this JWT. That's the most important thing. Is here I just showed you that how you can pass this as a header. So that is your header. You pass this JWT. So the most important thing is how your server programming be happen on the server side. So here I'm just checking this header be as an authorization. That's on your PHP and other kind of things. I mean other server kind of languages depends. Okay, and this is my string. It just be authorization. Okay, so that's done. So this is my call on the API, and I'm just checking if it is the header authorization. That means my header file, that is my JWTB, which I am sending, that is fine. So everything is fine. Otherwise maybe some issues, so it give back the responses to me, that is whether it is wrong or right. So do one thing on your JWT, nothing. Okay, so either you can pass it this session or the other activity, but I am just showing in the same activity. You can start activity on another and get the API call. Say I'm doing just be a call. Whenever I receive it, I just call it with your user call, we can say it, and that user call be your API call dot get user, and here you have to set pass your JWT token dot get token dot to string. In it you have to pass the things easy, and that user call dot enqueue, and that new callback strings be here. So you can say that is a show toast, and that is your call sorry this is your response dot body dot to string. Okay, and otherwise it in a failure case it show me that the toast be your t dot get message. So very simple. So now we have to run this again and check it whether we get it or not. So I think the scenario you can understand that what we have a JWT token on the server side. When we create the login authorization with there, it we get back the JWT on the client side, and whenever I do the API calls or uh, you can build it on your login session, that you have to create this. If you want something on that, that's my user login, user name or email, so you can pass this like this as in a header, and everywhere you pass this as in a header JWT on your all API calls in other activities, so you can get back the things on. And more depth, lot of things be in JWT, but I'm not talking about that. It just be the second tutorial in which the many things be clear to you. So let's see what be the answer. So here I'm putting the name the Vishal and Vishal again. So what happened? We received this JWT token and then send back to the server and get the result 111. So that's be part of that, how you can send it as in a header and the things be as in a JWT happen. So most of the things be on your server side, and this on client side. So that's the communication. And I think this second tutorial help you so you can do the JWT. And if you go for a more depth, there is a lot of things in JWT. Will update if I will get a time. Thank you so much.